Now, the other main city I served in, Kharkov, those were the two main cities in the mission, was Donetsk and Kharkov. Donetsk in the south and Kharkov in the north. And Kharkov was a lot less of that industrial factory feel that Donetsk has. It has more of like a modern European feel, not as much as Kyiv, and it's still very Eastern European and all in that regard. But it definitely is like a kind of a cleaner city. There's nicer shops. The grocery stores were a lot better, I thought. And in general, I don't know, just the missionaries had found more things to do there, I guess. They had more like, they knew about more like different stands that had the good food, that they knew about like different, there was a couple guys in this flea market that would sell ties to missionaries for really cheap, for like $2.50 a piece. So there was like this tie guy up in Kharkov that missionaries would go to all the time and buy ties from him. So I think I came home with like over 100 ties actually, because the nice ties I get from him, but even going to like thrift stores, you could get them for like 10 cents a piece. But it just, in general, it was more of like a, and I don't want to say it's like a, I don't actually remember which city is bigger population-wise, Kharkov or Donetsk, but I do know that it just had more of like a city type feel, whereas Donetsk kind of felt more of a hub where people would come to, I just travel and work and do things, and had more of like a grimier feel of a city. Kharkov felt more like what you would think of as like a city, like had some like culture behind it. And that's not to say Donetsk lacks culture, because it definitely, the mining culture and just the Soviet culture is still strong there, as opposed to Kharkov was more of like a Western, trying to embrace more of the Western feels. Not nearly as much as Kyiv, but compared to Donetsk at least. So that's kind of the main striking difference. I remember when I first got there, I just remember thinking how much nicer Kharkov was, I thought, at least, especially this district of Saltivka that I was in. In Kharkov, the northern city, the not industrial city, there's this giant flea market called Barabashova, and it was like famous to all the missionaries. You'd take a bus over there, and on P days you just see this giant, it seems like its own city almost, with all like the coverings and everything, but instead it's just this giant flea market under there. And missionaries loved it because they could go and just find the best deals on whatever. This is where, again, we got all our ties, but a lot of missionaries would get butterfly knives, they get small tasers, they get all kinds of cool clothes, they get nice belts, and it was all just really good prices, really cheap. I remember I got a flashlight laser pointer and a taser together for $10. And it was from this guy from Afghanistan that was just working there. The taser eventually broke because it was so cheap, but I just remember that was so fun to a lot of these missionaries, because you'd go and you'd find the most random things for decent prices in this huge city almost that's just selling all kinds of garbage, but you thought it was cool just because it was so different, really.